Okay, so you have to build one of these voltage divider boards, all right? And this is actually probably the simplest board I think you're ever going to have to make. It goes together really quickly, and because there's quite a bit of spacing on the backside, bridging of solder joints is really not much of a problem, okay? You do have a little bit of a problem right here. You might have to watch it carefully, but these gaps are pretty large, and it goes together pretty reliably, actually. So it's a great board to play with. So to do this, you're going to need a few parts, obviously. You're going to need a board. You're going to need one of these. We have a couple of different colors. You're going to need some kind of a terminal block. They sometimes are blue, sometimes they're green, but they're pretty much the same thing. Okay, I'm going to use the blue one. You're going to need a 10K resistor, all right, which means you're going to need to double check. Don't just trust the drawer. Make sure it is brown, black, orange. That's going to be your 10K resistor. And you're going to need 3 header pins. And I'm just going to go ahead and snap off 3 right now so we're ready to go. All right. So like all these boards, or almost all these boards, you want to go ahead and start with the components which are on the lowest profile first, which is the resistor in this case. It sits down rather low. And I've just bent it. And now I'm going to go ahead and insert it into these 2 holes like this. Although, there we go, I did it. Wasn't sure if I'd be able to see that well enough without glasses on at this moment. And I'm going to splay it out just a little bit. And what I want to do now is I want to put a dab of solder on just one. We're going to make sure that this guy is still flush before we solder it all the way down. So let me go ahead and put my glasses on and give it a dab. Okay. And we'll take a look. It looks good. The resistor is still flush on the bottom. It didn't fall out while we're soldering it. So I'll go ahead and put another bit of solder on it. All right. And then using the flush cutters with the smooth side down, I'm going to cut these off. I'm not going to push it down real hard. It doesn't have to be super flush. I just want to get this excess off. Okay, excellent. Now what you want to do is you want to get yourself a breadboard. Don't have to have a breadboard, but I think it makes it a little easier. And I'm going to set these pins. It doesn't matter at this time. I'll just set them right there. I'm just going to use it to kind of hold it in place while I do my first solder joint. And again, the same rule applies. Please just put one spot of solder on there. Don't solder all 3. Make sure it's straight before you do it, before you solder them all. In fact, I might intentionally screw this up. In fact, I will. Let's say you had soldered it and it came in like this. You had an angle on it. And you pull it out. And it's, oh man, I didn't do it right. Well, you still can fix it. What you want to do is you want to make sure you don't put your finger on the pin that you're going to have to get hot. It's just a little bit of a dexterity thing. So I'm going to push it with this and heat this up again and then reinsert it and get these all flush. Okay. Make sure it's straight. And I'm now good to go ahead and put the rest of these pins into solder here. So I'm going to set that in there. I'm going to rotate it, make it a little easier for me to get to these. Like so. Okay, let me take a look at it. We've got nice straight header pins. Everything looks real good. So now it's time to get the terminal block on. And sometimes you can put it on the further back, but usually it crashes into the resistor in that case. So if you put it then into these 2 holes here, okay, the ones on the outer edge, you're going to have your best fit, more than likely. I like to use another board. Actually, if I didn't show you this, I should say that if you need additional boards, usually there's going to be a block of these sitting around. You can just snap them off. They're kind of etched on one side. I'm going to use another board. It doesn't have to be one of these boards, just any board, because it turns out that if I put this guy right on the last row, okay, and insert it, and set it on top of another board, it's just about perfect. All right, it holds it up. If I don't have that board down, it falls out. But this board underneath it lifts it up just enough that you can kind of get it held into place. And now I'm going to take and put a dab of solder, a little bit more to the center, on one of these. Again, please, please, please don't solder them both. Make sure, oh, look at that, see it's tilted? So this one's easy. I'm going to go ahead and heat this up again while gently pushing with my other finger. And now it's sitting flush. It looks great, so I'm okay now to go ahead and put that other dab of solder on this remaining pin. These things are relatively massive. They sometimes take a little bit more heat, a little more time to actually get them to melt all the way down. So once you've got that, you're good to trim this off. Again, safety glasses. You might even hear, sometimes when I do this, the microphone will pick up these little high-speed projectiles taking off. Okay, I don't want those in anybody's eyes. You could actually, if you want to, trim these back a little bit. All right. And there you go. You've built a voltage divider board. All right. So I will see you again soon.